Good morning, everybody. We're going to go ahead and start now with the webinar. I want to welcome you to Read, Learn, Discover at KDLA. I'm Debbie Hibbard. I'm going to be presenting this morning, and I'm very glad to be here with you and let you know a little bit about KDLA and the State Library. Looks like we have a lot of folks here from the Department of Education and the Education and Workforce Development Cabinet. KDLA is also part of that cabinet, so it's good to have some fellow EWDC folks. I am going to switch over to the main presentation now. So you're going to see your screen switch up, and hopefully you'll see the slides. Okay, just a little bit of housekeeping before we get into the meat of the webinar. Again, I am Debbie Hibbard. I am a Circulation and Marketing Librarian here at KDLA, and I'm joined this morning by Bob Fitzsimmons, who is one of our new librarians here. He is an Acquisitions and Cataloging Librarian, and he's going to be manning our chat box this morning. So if you have any questions, you can just chat those in, and Bob will answer, or he'll get my attention, and I will try to answer the question. If you will also have hopefully some time at the end if you want to save questions for the end. There will be a presentation available, the presentation slides available for you to download at the end of this webinar, and there will be a survey link. So I hope to get some feedback from you about this webinar and other things that you'd like to see from us in the future. Okay. So I'm going to start with some just some brief background information. Again, KDLA is a agency within the Cabinet for Education and Workforce Development. And let me see if I can get my slides to go on here. Okay. Our mission is to support and promote access to library services and to ensure that documentation of government activities is created, preserved, and made available for public use. So on the library side of things, our job is to support state government employees in your work. We provide reference services, we provide interlibrary loan, we provide materials for training, and we also, and I'll talk a little bit more about this in a minute, but we also work with public library staff throughout the state to support development of public libraries. On the archive side of things, we manage local and state government records. We also make sure that, again, that this documentation of government activities is made available for public use. So we do have a research room here where people can come. They can get information on different state agencies. We have state agency records here. They can also do genealogy research. We have marriage and different types of wills and deeds and records of that sort. We also have circuit court records here, so any criminal and civil court cases going back to the foundation of Kentucky are here at the State Library at KDLA. We also provide services through the Kentucky Talking Books Library. It is actually more of a federal program, but it's administered by the state, and it provides library services for people with visual and physical disabilities that prevents them from reading traditional print books. And I believe that's also been opened up to folks who have any type of learning disability that might make it difficult as well. So that's just a little bit of some of the things that we do. Now, our primary, for the state library, our primary customers are state government employees and public library staff across the state. Again, we do, in terms of public library development, we have grants. We also provide different types of materials that supplement collections. We have circulating collections that go out, audiobook and large print books. And those collections help to, especially for libraries that might have a smaller budget, it helps them to save money because large print and audiobooks are quite expensive to buy. So we do have circulating collections that go throughout the state. We also have programming kits. We have book club kits for adults as well as for youth, and anybody in the community can also check those out, but they do have to go through their public library to do it. So those are just some of the services that KDLA provides for Kentuckians. Okay, and I'm going to outline the services and resources we offer state employees, and I'll talk about each one more in depth in a minute. But first of all, we do have a physical collection of books, CD audiobooks, and DVDs. We have a downloadable collection of ebooks, audiobooks, and streaming video. We have electronic research databases. Interlibrary Loan is available. We have an Ask a Librarian service and a variety of training resources. Okay, and so to describe our physical collection, of course, we have books. We have specifically a Kentucky collection. So being the state library, we feel like it's our responsibility to collect all things Kentucky. So that can include biographies and autobiographies of famous people, famous Kentuckians. It can be books that are written by Kentucky authors. It can be nonfiction books about geology of Kentucky, sports in Kentucky, just anything Kentucky basically we will collect. We also have a nonfiction collection. We call this the general collection, and basically this is to support state government employees' work. So one of our, the way that we kind of rationalize having this part of the collection is that if we can provide information for you that helps you be a healthier, happier employee, then that is part of our mission. So we do have books on various health subjects, personal finances, retirement planning, parenting issues. We just actually ordered a number of new titles in the parenting section. So you can always check out those books from us. We send them right to your office, so they come right to you. We also have, of course, topics on, workplace issues. So any kind of computer skills, software applications, customer service topics, anything that's human resource related, management, supervisory skills, relationships with coworkers, things of that nature, we also collect. And then we have a collection of large print books. These are both fiction and nonfiction. Several years ago, these actually did not go out to state government employees, but now we have opened up that collection to anyone who would like to borrow the books. And since a lot of our collection is nonfiction, that opens up fiction titles to state government employees as well. But the reason that we have the large print books is, again, that's part of those circulating collections that we send to public libraries throughout the state. And then we have an audiobook collection. We have a very sizable audiobook collection, in fact. And it's both fiction and nonfiction. Mostly CDs. Back during the MP3 craze, we did have a few, collect a few of those MP3s, but we are in the process of getting rid of those and weeding them now, actually. And then we have DVDs, and these all focus on workplace topics, so supervisory skills, communication, diversity, safety, and they are great for staff trainings if you do any training in your agency. Okay, and now to our electronic collection and resources. We are a member of Kentucky Libraries Unbound. That is a downloadable collection of ebooks, e-audiobooks, and streaming videos. KLU is a group of libraries throughout Kentucky that have pooled their resources to offer digital material to their patrons. This is powered by a company called Overdrive. There are a few library systems, our biggest library systems in particular I can think of, Lexington and Louisville, that have their own contracts with Overdrive. So if you live in Lexington or Louisville and you're a member of your public library there, then your digital collection that you have available through your public library is going to be different from what you have available to you through KLU. So if you have two accounts, you're going to find different things. If you have a public library account and a state government account, then you're going to find different materials in those two collections. If you are a member of one of the 107 counties that are part of KLU, then you also have access to KLU through your public library. However, there are some small differences in the collections. We do specifically collect for, again, workplace topics, things that we would have in our physical collection. So you'll see some differences with your state library account card. Also, some counties participate in what's called an advantage plan, so they may have more copies of popular fiction titles than we do, but we also have access to all of those titles as well. And then electronic research databases, we have added recently to our databases. We have quite a few now. So some of the popular ones, now these are research databases that of course you can use to do any kind of research for work. You can access it remotely. You don't have to be at work to access it. Our site is mobile friendly, so you can even get it on your phone if you wanted to do that. But these databases have the full text articles. A lot of them do. Sometimes they're just bibliographic records. These are from thousands of newspapers, magazines, professional journals, and different types of scholarly articles, and even encyclopedia articles. Some of the newspaper are the ones that we have. Newsbank has a lot of the Kentucky newspapers in it. We do have what used to be called Reference USA. It's actually recently changed to Data Axle. Learning Express Library is another database that's pretty popular, and Health Source. And then I'll be going over these with you a little later here in the webinar to show you specifically what we have. We do offer training specifically on each of these databases and how to get the most out of them throughout the year. So you can look at our training events calendar on our webpage to find trainings for different databases in the coming months. Okay, so now I'm going to walk you through our website so you'll know how to access all these great resources. You start at our homepage, that is KDLA.ky.gov, and you'll see under the logo a blue bar, and that has all of our different customer groups. You've got librarians, archivists, researchers, and of course state employees is the one that you would be interested in. And you just go to that drop-down menu and it shows you all the different services that we have for state government employees. And a good place to start is our welcome page, because it gives you just an overview of everything that we have. And this is the welcome page for state government employees. And I just want to take a minute to point out a few places where you can access our search catalog, our catalog and search tool called WorldCat Discovery. And this is where you'd start any search for materials. So you can either type in your search term there in just the general box there. You can also go to the very last link on the drop-down menu, click on the WorldCat Discovery. That'll take you to the main catalog page. There is one thing that you should note. If you've had in the past a state library account, the login procedure is a little different now. So we do have a little short video there, just a 5-minute link that walks you through setting up a password if you need to reset a password or get a new one. And that's where the link is. It's probably hidden a little bit there on the page. Okay, and this is our main catalog page. And this is where you sign in, or if you're signing in for the first time, you can get your password. When you click on sign in, it's going to take you to our authentication page, and you'll only have to sign in once. Once you have signed in, you will have access to our catalog, to the research databases, and Kentucky Libraries Unbound. If you're kind of going between all three of those, you won't have to sign in each time. And if you happen to forget your password or you need to reset it for any reason, you can go there to reset the password. And this is actually an older screen. I apologize. That now says set reset password instead of forgot password. Okay, and once you are getting your password, you get that instruction page. It says request new password. Once you click on that, they will email instructions to the email address that we have on file for you, and that will let you set a new password. And now that you're signed in, you see that your name changes to orange up there, and if you hover over that orange box, a drop-down menu appears. And this is where you can access your account. And this tells you how many books you have checked out, if there's any charges on your account, if you have any holds. And you can also renew the books that you do have checked out, or any of the items that you have checked out. One thing that you should know, we're a little different than public libraries. We do not charge overdue fines at all. We only charge if a item is lost or damaged to where we can't use it again. So that is something that's a little bit different. We don't charge overdues. And usually we can renew items for you multiple times. So that is one good thing. Okay, a few other things on that drop-down menu next to where you sign in. You also have the Ask a Librarian link, and a link that takes you to our research databases page. Okay, so I'm just going to go do a very brief run through to give you an idea of how our catalog works, because it's kind of unique. It's a little bit different than other catalogs that you may have used at other libraries. Okay, so let's say I am searching the term stress management. Okay, so first notice it says held by Kentucky Departments for Libraries and Archives. The reason I'm pointing this out is that the WorldCat catalog, when you search a term, it's going to bring up everything but the kitchen sink, literally. It is, this catalog is not just items that we have in our collection. It is tied to all the other libraries that are part of what's called the OCLC consortium. So when you are searching something in our catalog, you are going to get items from all over the place, all different types of libraries, all around the world, really. And what's going to happen is, and you can see in the search here, let me see if I can get that to come up. Yeah, that it says that when I search the term stress management, I got 438,035 items. Okay, so obviously we don't have that many items in our collection on that topic. So this is from hundreds of libraries. Now our items do float to the top of your search results. So the first results you should see are the ones from Kentucky Department for Libraries and Archives. Also, when I say everything but the kitchen sink, it's not just books and audiobooks and DVDs that we have in our physical collection, but our research database articles are also tied to this catalog. So many of those will also show up, as well as, and some people go in and instead of getting into individual research databases, they actually just go into the catalog to kind of get an idea of what we have and then go into the individual research databases. We also have links for those research articles that will take you directly into the database and open up the article for you. But that all comes from the catalog. So that's why they call it discovery, because you can literally discover, you know, all kinds of different items. Okay, another thing about this, you see over here, you can filter it if you just want to see items that are available through KDLA. You'll hit that, you'll check that box there to filter. And then you can also filter by format if you just want a print book or you just want an audio book and so on. The little green circle means that it's available. And if you click on the title in blue, it's going to take you to the item record. You see over here, we still have our search results there on that left-hand side, and you can scroll through those first 10 items over there. And then to the right, you have your full item record. And if you click on description, you're going to get a description of the item. It's either a short summary or it might be a listing of subjects, subject headings. And scrolling on down, you can see here that 28 libraries have this particular book, Stress Management Strategies. Now, it's going to start with KDLA being the default location, but you can actually enter your home address and see if there's a library closer to your home address if you wanted to do that. That also has that book. And then there's the section that shows you the call number and availability status. Okay, so if I wanted to check this out from KDLA, I'm going to click on Place Hold, and it's going to bring up that box that asks you to confirm by clicking Submit. And once you do that, it shows up on a list that we have, and we will pull it and we will send it through messenger mail if you're here in Frankfurt to your office. If you live outside of Frankfurt or work outside of Frankfurt, we will ship it via UPS to your work address, or if you are working from home currently, as a lot of us are, we will ship it to your home address if you request it. So these are items that come to you from the library. Okay, and I apologize, this slide is going to look a little strange here. A little final info on checking out materials. You can check them out in person, usually, in non-COVID times. We are at 300 Coffee Tree Road in Frankfurt. We're right next to the Vietnam Veterans Memorial. And our library room is open from 9 to 4 Monday through Friday. We only have audiobooks and DVD. Actually, nothing is really browsable. So it's probably best to check the catalog and see what we have, and then you can come here and pick it up. Or you can call us and we can kind of walk through some things with you over the phone. That is 502-564-8306 in Frankfurt. If you're outside Frankfurt, we do have that toll-free number. And we do answer phones from 8 to 4:30 Monday through Friday. Now we do have, as you see, currently closed to the public due to COVID. We are still closed to the public at this time because of COVID. I'm thinking in the next, I haven't heard anything, but I'm thinking in the next month maybe we might reopen, but I haven't heard anything definite about that. So who knows? But as of this time, we are closed to the public, but we still are operating, and we do still send out materials, again, to your home or to your work address if you are working in your office. Check out periods for books and audiobooks. That's 4 weeks initially, and then we do renew for 2 weeks if there's not a hold on it, and usually there's not. So it's usually not a problem to renew items. We also check out DVDs for 7 days, and those are also renewable. And again, we send it right to you. So if you're here in Frankfurt, we'll send it through messenger mail. If you're outside Frankfurt, we will send it with, through UPS, and we do include return postage, so it's completely free. Okay, does anybody have any questions right now? Yes, there is a filter. Let me go back real quick to our catalog. I'm going forward. Sorry about that. Let's see. Yeah, if you go to the very first page here, I apologize. Having trouble getting this to move forward. Oh, there we go. Okay, so on the left-hand side there, you'll see, I thought I was getting a pointer. Anyhow, on that far left-hand side, it has a place where you can filter for format. So you can just filter for audiobooks. Absolutely. Okay. Let me rush through here. Yeah, are there any other questions? Okay, awesome. All right. Let's get on down to the downloadable collection, Kentucky Libraries Unbound. And so KLU, again, is a group of Kentucky public libraries that share electronic collections. And if you go back to that State Employees drop-down menu, you're going to see at the bottom, kind of towards the middle here, downloading audiobooks and ebooks. And once you click on that link, you'll be taken to a page on our website that explains how to access KLU and download items. Now, KLU is able to offer downloadable material through Overdrive. They're kind of like a middleman between the creators and publishers of digital material and libraries and schools that want to check out these materials to their customers. And they do provide digital rights management for publishers. Okay. So if this is the first time you're downloading material, the best place to go, and we do have a webinar that is completely about Kentucky Libraries Unbound, so this is just a brief overview. The best place to go, though, is Overdrive's help page. They have directions on the page that will give you, it's a very good, well-organized help page, and it tells you all about the different apps or software that you might need for any particular device, how to download items, and so on. Yes, temporary employees can get a library account. Okay, and a word about Kindles. If you are downloading to a Kindle, it's a little bit different. It takes you to Amazon's website for download. If you've, got a Kindle, you're very familiar with that probably. Okay, so when you go to our downloading page, you're going to see a hyperlink to the KLU homepage. There is one little thing that you probably need to keep in mind. If you're downloading to state machinery, if you're downloading to your state computer, then you probably need to follow your agency's IT policies before downloading any materials. So, sometimes I, for example, have checked out books relevant to my work before through Kentucky Libraries Unbound. And I usually will download those to my computer because it's work related. So you just make sure that you know what your particular agency's policy is. Okay, so Once you get to KLU's home page, and this is their home page, you sign in. This is the little help there in the far right hand corner, and that will take you to that Overdrive help page that I mentioned earlier. There it is. When you sign in, you're going to be taken to a page where you'll click on your library. So you're going to choose, and you can see all the member libraries. So you can check to see if your county where you live, if the public library is also a member. And if you click on Kentucky Libraries Unbound, it's going to take you to our authentication page, and you just use your library account number and password to sign in. Okay, and so once you sign in, you'll be taken back here, and you can hover over My Account to get that drop-down menu. And if you click on Loans, you'll be shown the items that you have checked out. And Holds is going to show you the items that you have on hold. Your wish list contains items that you might be interested in. Maybe you've seen it, it's not available right now, and you want to put it on your wish lists for something that you want to read in the future. And then you also have an option for how many days you want to check out your materials. So you have 7, 14, or 21 days are the options that KLU gives you. For the audio, for the DVDs or streaming video, I believe it's 3, 5, and 7. And they do have a lot of streaming video, and that's something that when I look at our statistics each month, it's amazing. Hardly anyone ever checks it out. But they have popular series, television series and things that they have available. It's all free, so. You can check out up to 12 items at a time, and you can have 10 items on hold. And just a few things I'm going to point out here. So again, this is where you search. I have searched term stress management. If you just want to see titles that are currently available under that topic, you can click on Available Now, and it'll show you items that are just that can currently be checked out, that don't have any kind of holds on them. You can also filter if you just want ebooks or if you just want audiobooks. You can filter over there on the left. You'll notice at the top of the cover it shows you whether there's a wait list or whether it's available. And then another thing to pay attention to is whether it's an ebook or an audiobook. I have accidentally checked out audiobooks before when I really wanted an ebook, so that's just something to note which format it is. And if you click on Borrow, it's going to allow you to borrow it, or you can place a hold on it. And the 3 little dots there brings up a menu. It allows you to read a sample of the book if you want. You can view details, which would be the summary of the book, or like the jacket cover. And then they also have a little "you may also like" kind of a recommendations page. So once you borrow an item, at the very top you'll see that you have it checked out. And you'll need to hit Loans to go to your Loans page, and then that allows you to download it. So when you click download, you see the different options there. You've got Kindle, EPUB, PDF book. A PDF book is going to download a PDF of the book to your computer or mobile device. Of course, a Kindle book is going to go to Amazon Kindle, and an EPUB, other devices. Apple, I believe, and so on. And again, with Amazon, it takes you to the website before it lets you check out your library book, and it will tell you the expiration date there. And when the expiration date comes up, and any of you who've used, downloaded ebooks and so on, obviously it just, when your time is up, and it just automatically returns the book for you. So you don't have to worry about returning it. Sometimes you can renew it, sometimes you can't. With KLU, you do get an email a few days prior to the expiration date that tells you whether or not you can renew it. Okay, and on to our electronic databases. They are web-based, access 24/7 to current information from reputable sources. You do have access to hundreds of full-text newspaper, magazine, professional journal, and encyclopedia articles. And some, well, actually, all of them, I believe, allow you to get email alerts when an article, so if you're following a particular subject for research, you can get email alerts when a new article is added on that topic of interest. So to access the research databases, you'll go to that State Employees drop-down menu again. Just click on Research Databases. And this takes you to our Research Databases page. You see we recently added Bio 1, which is specifically science topics, biology, obviously, environment, things of that nature. Then we have JSTOR. JSTOR has a lot of scholarly articles in it. A lot of the Taylor and Francis publications are in JSTOR. Newsbank. Newsbank has all of the most of the Kentucky newspapers, except for the Louisville Courier-Journal. And the State Journal, Frankfort State Journal, which is not in any database. But the Courier-Journal you can access through ProQuest, which is the next research database down. And it also has the Wall Street Journal. It has a number of other newspapers as well as scholarly journals. Kentucky Virtual Library is the database that most public libraries also have access to, and it has just a number of different databases, particularly the EBSCO databases, which include databases like CINAHL, ERIC, Medline, Academic Search Complete, and some of those types of databases. And then we have Data Axle Reference Solutions, which used to be Reference USA, and that is a people and business directory. It has lots of information about businesses. If you do any kind of anything to do with researching different businesses, that's a very good database to use. And then WorldCat Discovery simply takes you to our catalog, and the Homeland Security Digital Library is also available, and that is free, I believe, to all state government agencies because it's a federal database. Okay. Thing about the KYVL databases, some people have trouble accessing that. If you do have trouble, if you try to get into it and you find that you're not able to enter, or if it's asking you for a password for KYVL, then we have a little workaround page that we have created. You can click on that, and it will take you to some links where you can get into KYVL. Some people, for some reason, have trouble getting into it. And there's the EBSCO link. Okay, so again, once you choose your database, it's going to take you to our authentication page unless you're already signed in. Now this is Kentucky Virtual Libraries page, and I chose it because they have so many different databases available. If you click on the databases tab there, it's going to bring up just a drop-down menu there, and you see that you can click on Learning Express if you want to learn. That is a database that has a number of different tutorials for different types of skills, for different types of computer applications. Like if you wanted to learn more about Microsoft Excel spreadsheets, you can go into that. If you have a teenager at home, it has like ACT practice tests. It has just all kinds of things are in Learning Express. Also, right now, if you're at all interested in genealogy, KYVL is offering Ancestry Library Edition remotely. So that is the second link down. So if you ever wanted to try Ancestry, now's the time to do it because it's free. I don't know how much longer they're going to be able to offer that. That has been something they've been doing throughout the pandemic. Okay, and I'm just going to briefly kind of take you through their databases page. So on EBSCO, again, that has a lot of the scholarly types of databases. You see there on the left-hand side, that's just a navigation menu. I'm going to take you into MasterFile Premier. Now, MasterFile Premier actually has a lot of general interest type magazines, but let's take a look at it. So once you get into it, you'll see here at the top it shows you which database that you're searching. And if you wanted to see what publications are included in that database, just click on Publications. It'll take you to a title list. Joel, if your KDLA account has expired, all you have to do, I'll show you the Ask a Librarian link. All you have to do is email us on that link, and it's real easy to reset your account. We do have them expire every 3 years just so we can get updated information, contact information. Okay, so on Publications at the top of the page, if you click on that again, it's going to bring up a title list. And just to show you that, you can also you can either go through alphabetically and look at different journals under, you know, the first letter of their title, or you can type in, which is easier, in that box there, the title of the magazine that you're interested in, and hit Browse, and it will bring up the titles. And if you wanted to search within that publication, again, just hit Browse. It shows you the different versions of Consumer Reports, for example, and it tells you how long of a period of time that they have. So it looks like they go back to 1985, and whether it has full text or not. And then you just click on the box next to that to add that to your search box. And let's say I wanted to search, I was doing some car research and I wanted to search Toyota. So I just put Toyota in there along with my publication title. And you see here, rating the 2021 models. So it has brought up these items in the search result. And here we have the full text article. If you look at it in HTML, it's just going to be the text alone. If you pick PDF full text, that is going to be just as it appears in the magazine. So it'll have all the graphs, all the pictures, everything that goes with the article. So I picked PDF, and it's just a very simple article, but there it is. Okay, any other questions? Anything on our electronic collections that I can answer? Okay. So just to wrap up here, we have a number of other services that we offer. We do have Interlibrary Loan, and this is one that is used a lot by state government employees. So if we don't have the item you want in one of our research databases or something in our physical collection, we will try to borrow that from a library that does. We will borrow from just about anywhere. We have even had requests for like a book from Australia before. We do try to get those if at all possible, but a lot of times that isn't necessarily possible or financially feasible. But we will try to get it for you. There are a few caveats to our interlibrary loan. Unlike your public library, which will get you fiction books, our items have to be work related. So any articles that you want, we can get. We can also get you anything that would be in our physical collection. So if it's a parenting topic, if it's something that's health related, if it is some type of supervisory topic or human resources topic, we will try to get that for you, but it does have to be, we have to be able to rationalize it as work related. Okay, it also can take up to 2 to 3 weeks to obtain an item if it's a physical book. If it's an article, we can usually get it within a day, sometimes same day. And what we do is we will just email that to you as a PDF. Yes, we do have, that's over in the archive side, but yes, we do have a collection of births and deaths. And actually, if you take advantage of Ancestry and KYVL there are a lot of Kentucky's birth and death records are actually in Ancestry. Also, a website called FamilySearch.org has a lot of Kentucky birth and death records. We do have them on microfilm. We have some of the earliest ones on microfilm as well for births and deaths. But actually those records only go back, not as far as you would think they would. They only go back to, trying to think, I think it's 1852 was the first vital records law in Kentucky. So they generally don't go back beyond 1852. Okay. So KDLA does not determine the due date for any interlibrary loan items. So if it's a physical item, when we get it, sometimes the due date is almost due, and we will go ahead and get back with that library and ask them if there's any way we can renew it to give you extra time on it. But they do determine the due date. So if you want to request an interlibrary loan, say you have searched our catalog and you have found an item in the catalog and you see that it does not say held by Kentucky Department for Libraries and Archives. So it will have that blue button that says request item, and that will just put in your information there. That will arrive in our office it's attached to our interlibrary loan system that will show up. And we will email you once it arrives. We will go ahead and put a call out for it. I usually will let you know that we have requested it. And then once we get it, I will email you that it's arrived, and we will send it to your office. Or again, we can send them to your home right now if you're working from home. Now this is our Ask a Librarian feature. So that's the second option down on the State Employees drop-down menu. And this is a way for you to ask any information. You can either request interlibrary loan through this form. You can also, if you have a library account that's expired, you can request to have your library account reset. This is just basically kind of like emailing us, letting us know what you need. If you have any kind of research or reference questions, we're also happy to try to help you with that. So we try to get back to you within 24 hours, even if it's just to let you know that we have received your request. We also have a training resources page. Of course, you did have to come to the training events. I think I did actually send out a link, though, directly to the registration form. But if you want to see what we have coming up in terms of webinars, maybe database webinars, Kentucky Libraries Unbound webinar, those are going to be on our training events calendar. That's that fourth option down. Just click on that. And you'll see here, you just click on the title, and it will bring up a registration form. We also have a training resources page. Oh, getting ahead of myself. We have an archived training sessions page. So these are trainings that we've had in the past. And you just go to State Library Resources and Services, and it will bring up all the different webinars So there's Browse, Checkout, Download at the top. That's about Kentucky Libraries Unbound. These are all webinars we've had in the past that we've recorded, and they are free to listen to. You can just click on it. It should bring it up. Now, there has been a little bit, we do these in Adobe Connect, and Adobe Connect has changed within the last year. They had some updates. They've also, I believe Adobe is doing away with Flash Player, and that's what a lot of these used to be that we used. Because Adobe Connect used to use Flash Player. So there may be some issues. If you have any issues at all with accessing any of these, just let us know, and we'll try to figure out some kind of workaround to get the information to you. We can send you, the slides if nothing else, because we have all of those in PDFs. Okay, and then we also have a technology training page. It is loaded with resources to help you master just about any kind of business or popular software like Excel or Adobe Photoshop. You're just going to click on technology training under that drop-down menu, and it brings you to this page. And these trainings are located in databases. Some of them are in Learning Express, which I had mentioned earlier. That's part of the KYVL collection. Some of them are from the web, some are from our YouTube channel, and these have been vetted by our continuing education department staff members and are up to date and user friendly. And that about brings us to the end of the webinar. Do you have any other questions? Any questions at all? Okay. Bob and I will be hanging around here for a little bit. If you are ready to leave, then you can go ahead and click on the red icon there in the top right hand corner of your screen. Thank you for being with us here today. Let me take you on over to our wrap-up page where you can download the slides. So you see there in the bottom left-hand corner, you just click on Read, Learn, Discover at your State Library PDF, and that should light up and download. We also have a survey, so if you have a few minutes here at the end, if you wouldn't mind, it's just a really short survey. I would appreciate it if you could go ahead and give us some feedback and let us know what else you'd like to hear from us in the future. And we also, I'm supposed to let you know that this webinar was made possible in part by the Institute of Museum and Library Services. So, okay, if there aren't any other questions, again, Bob and I are going to be here for a little while. I'm going to go ahead and mute the mic, and I really appreciate your attending. I hope that you will use your state library. This is a free resource to you, and we are here and happy to help in any way that we can. So hope to hear from you soon. All righty. Have a good afternoon, guys, or rest of the day, or rest of the morning. Bye.